Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show. This is the show that we do every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what do we do at this show? This is the show that we bring experts from different niches, and we talk about the defining moments and accomplishments of those experts so that they can help you enhance your personal life as well as in your business. So my name is Christy Iwuchukwu, aka Lady Christy. I'm the CEO and founder of Chosen Path Global, helping women embrace their brilliance, helping you to be confident so that you can express your brilliant value. That's right. And if you have been following me, you also know that I recently launched Women's Coaching Association. This is an association where coaches come together to collaborate, connect, and partner with each other. And I would love for you to be a part of that association. You can go over to Women's with an S, Women's Coaching Association.com, Women's Coaching Association.com. There you will find all the benefits to become a member today. I hope that you join us, join brilliant coaches, and become a member today. And also, I invite you to go over to rockyyourbrilliance.com and schedule a time to have a chat with me. And we can talk about how I can help you be able to express your brilliant value. So on to today's topic, on to today's show, I want you to invite someone else if you haven't already done so. I want you to get your pen, your pencil, and paper and get ready because our guest star today is Katrina Sawa. And most of you already know her. And if you don't know her, if this is the first time you're hearing for her, you are in for a treat today. Because Katrina is going to be talking about how to jumpstart your business, your marketing, and much more. So who's Katrina? Katrina is known as the JumpStart Your Biz Coach. She kicks her clients and their businesses into high gear, turning their inspiration and ideas into smooth running, money-making businesses. Please help me welcome Katrina Sawa. Katrina, are you there?
I'm here. Hi.
Awesome. And Katrina is also a member of Women's Coaching Association.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's nothing like it out there. I was shocked to not find anything out there. So good for you for starting that.
Awesome, awesome. And she's going to be helping and providing training for the members. So I really, really appreciate her. And I can't wait for our continued working together. So Katrina, tell for some of those individuals that are on the line now and those that will be watching in the future that don't know who Katrina is. How did you get started in business? Because I want you to really pull the curtain back a little bit and tell us, we know Katrina now, but we didn't know Katrina then. What was that defining moment that got you started in business?
Right. Well, there's the inkling and the thought that I knew I'd always be a business owner, even when I had those corporate jobs. And even in college, I probably thought, well, I'm going to start a business one day, but I didn't know what it was going to be like. So, I was bartending. I actually graduated college as a bartender. My mom was so proud. And, but a couple of years later, I went into corporate and went into a couple different jobs. And I still wasn't clear on what I wanted to do with my own business. And I had to you have to kind of feel your way, right? Feel your way into where your opportunities will lie. And sometimes the path just takes you in the right direction. And it took me to one of my last jobs was advertising sales. So I used to sell ads in the local newspaper here in Sacramento. And luckily I got out right before, people start reading newspapers, I think. And before they were too savvy online, unfortunately. But in that job, though, I met so many different business owners, small business owners that were great at what they were doing. They were passionate, but they didn't really know how to run a business successfully and get a lot of clients. So I was really teaching them so many other things when I was there to try to sell an ad. And so I kind of got the inkling, okay, I'm here to help other small business owners. But it wasn't until my very last job at a retirement community as a sales and marketing director when I could not stand my boss. I could not stand my boss, okay? And I basically, one day I just walked into his office and I said, you know what? You're two-faced, you say one thing and do the other. And I told him off and I told him where to go and I walked out the door and never looked back. So that's how it all started.
Wow. There's always that defining moment.
Yeah.
You get to that point, you say, I'm done. Enough is enough. I don't care if I have to figure it out myself, and I don't care how long it takes. And that's exactly what you've done. So how did you figure out that automating, because you are known as the queen of automation in business, how did you figure out that automating most of all your businesses is the best way to go?
Yeah, well, there's no way I would have been able to get where I am today with so much going on. I mean, you should see my project board over here. I have like all these projects I'm working on. And because I have the right systems in place on my website with the right technology, I also have the right team. I have people who can assist me in certain things to do certain things. I call in others when I need spot help in certain areas. And yeah, I mean, we automate as much as possible. Now, not everything can be automated, but most people don't even have their basic marketing follow-up and sales processes automated. They don't have it set up in their computer. They're not using their website as the hub of their business. And that's where it's just an epic fail. But sometimes you just don't know as you don't know. And you don't know how to set it up, or you don't know how to do something. So I love to show people how and give them the clarity and that understanding of what to do, how to do it, and how it's going to make them run into a smooth running, money-making machine of a business.
Oh, wow. I remember I actually have been to your classes, your workshops, and conference a couple of times. And it's unlike most conferences that you go to. In your case, you really go to work, help the clients out. And that's what I appreciate about your conferences and your workshop. You really actually help the people out and not just lecturing or just talking for the whole 2 or 3 days that you have the workshop. So yeah. I really, really appreciate your workshop so much.
Thank you.
So you are Katrina Sawa, the JumpStart Biz Coach that we come to know, the queen of marketing that we come to know. But what was that for you? If you can look back, think about the mistakes that you made as a new entrepreneur. What was that, and what was the hardest? And how can you help our viewers navigate that issue?
Well, first, you do have to get clarity on what you're offering and what you're selling and who it's for. So you got to get clarity on that initial, what you're doing, right? And if you aren't sure, you try some different things out. I have a couple clients who were trying out different business models right now. We're trying out to see if a membership model will work. We're trying out one-on-one and what price point and how many months, right, for a package. We're trying out easy yes offers, which is something I teach. Like, what's the best easy yes offer to say, like, when you're speaking in front of a group for, $47 for this, or $147 for a call plus this, so it's sometimes it's a little trial and error. And I think that's what's really important, is to get some different feedback and input, not necessarily though from just recordings and things that you're going to find on the internet, but with people that can really look at what you're doing from the big picture down and look where your goals are and then give you some ideas. I don't like to tell people just do this one thing, it's going to make you a bunch of money. I'm like, this is the 4 or 5 or 10 different things you could do. Let's brainstorm together which ones are the best ones for you to do. And somebody might have so many people are going to have different options. And I'm not a fan of the coaches that will say, oh, everybody needs to do a teleseminar, or be a host on a telesummit, or do a podcast, and all these things that are just so must do this, advice. I don't say that kind of advice because it depends on the person's industry, their lifestyle, their goals, and so much more.
And I like what you said because for me, I have found out that you have to really be flexible when you're trying to get into this business. That oftentimes you have something that you want to do in mind, but you do it, maybe that's not the best approach, maybe not, that's not the best product. But if you are flexible, if you have a mindset to try something else, and if it doesn't work out, you can always switch to something else. And I appreciate the way you really coach your clients rather than saying, this is it and this is what I think you should do. But you really look at overall, who is the client? What are they good at? And what can they do for now? And if it doesn't work, let's try something else. So I really think it's a good strategy when you are coaching someone rather than just saying, you have to do this. This is the way it's done.
Yeah, I mean, my business has changed dramatically over the last 16 years. You just have to be open to the evolution of it and you personally too, because things will change. I went through a divorce, a broken relationship, being single, online dating, and now married with a kid. I mean, life changes will change your business. So you got to be flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are known for being the queen for automation. So why is it really critical that every business has some way to automate their business? Everyone that is in business has a way to automate their business. Why do you think it's so crucial? Because you preach about it. Why do you think it's so crucial? And what are the few ones that you can give our audience right now to implement?
Well, it's critical because most people now are so overwhelmed with as much information that's coming at them, right? We have videos like this. We have Facebook Lives. We have YouTube. We have our inbox, our Facebook inbox, our LinkedIn inbox, our Twitter feed. We have so many different forms of communication coming at us, not to mention what happens when we're getting our car, right? We have podcasts and radio shows. I mean, it's just insane amount of information coming at everyone every day. Therefore, the regular marketing that you used to do, the regular lead generation, the regular follow-up via maybe an email here, a phone call there, it's not getting noticed. And the number of people that you have to get in front of these days in order to find the number of people that will actually buy from you to help, support your business has tremendously grown. So it used to be that people would pay more attention to your stuff. So you may only have to talk to a couple hundred people or get in front of a couple hundred people every month in order to find a couple dozen to talk to, or at least a dozen people to talk to find the half a dozen who might want to work with you, right? But now it's just so much bigger. I always tell people you got to get in front of 1,000 new people every single month. New people, not just people on your email list or people in the networking groups that you belong to, that you go to every month, but new people. How do you get in front of new people, 1,000 new people every month? In order to do that, you've got to automate. You've got to set up systems. You've got to set up things in the auto emails that go out when someone clicks this, or when they open this, then they get sent that, or when they hit this web page, the video plays, or, you've got to get more automated these days in order to reach that many people and capture their attention more.
So what do you think? There's so many, when we talk about automation, there's gazillion of things that you can do to automate. But for somebody who's just starting out, what do you think are the top things that they need to focus on in order just for automation?
Right. Okay. So if you're just starting out and you're new to coaching or the business, then you need clients and you need cash flow. You don't have to have a website in order to get paying clients. It's critical. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to go there in a second. But if you don't talk to enough people and follow up with them consistently, you're not going to make the money, period. You can make a lot of money if you talk to a lot of people in a networking situation or speaking gigs or even social media networking, and then you follow up with them. So the follow-up systems are the number one thing you want to create first, especially if you're just starting out, because you can get to, I used to go to 14 networking events a month when I first started my business. And I would always be networking, but I also always was following up. I was really diligent about it. But back then, 16 years ago, I only had to like make a phone call and send an email and they would read it or respond. Now I have to do like 14 different things in order for them to even pay attention to follow up. So organizing your follow-up is number one. Managing your website though and automating things on your website, like with funnels and opt-ins and videos and click to buy buttons and shopping carts, that's a next step. And it doesn't have to be done immediately right outside the gate. You want to do it as soon as humanly possible. But if you don't have any money and you're just starting a business, you need to go networking and do follow-up.
So, I think back for me, starting out, it can really get overwhelming. It can really get overwhelming. As you said, there's so much information coming to you through email, you have chat box, you have Facebook, you have, you name it, you get it. There's a lot of information in so many ways coming to you, and it can really get overwhelming, especially somebody who's new. So one of the challenges that people face is trying to do it all, especially when you are either a parallel entrepreneur or you're a solo entrepreneur. You're doing everything. You answer the call, you send the email out, you do everything in your business. So bearing in mind that somebody starting out don't have a lot of money as well. So what do you suggest that are the things that they may need to send out to be able to help them level up?
Well, you just need to get people on the phone. I mean, if you're trying to make money, you have to talk to more people. So you need to get phone calls on the calendar, plain and simple. And so however you can do that, either you go out and meet them in person and say, hey, we should schedule a follow-up call and see how we can help each other. Any kind of phone call, any kind of communication where you're talking on the phone or even on a Skype or a Zoom call one-on-one, is the best thing to do in the beginning when you're trying to make money, period. You cannot rely on email or a Facebook message or a Facebook group or a Facebook business page or even LinkedIn or whatever. You can't rely on that only. You have to take it to the next step. And then you want to get started speaking. So speaking is really good to elevate that expert status of you and add more credibility to what you're doing.
I'm glad you brought up on speaking, because oftentimes when people think about speaking, they are thinking about perhaps they have to be a keynote speaker to be speaking. Talk a little bit about how speaking can help you grow your business.
Right. Well, there's paid speaking, which are like keynotes and things that you see, like, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, any of the paid speakers. That's a business model. Okay. And they go out and they look for conferences and companies that will hire them to speak. Now, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of those in the beginning of your business unless you come from corporate where you are well known and you have lots of connections and you can get in the door like that. That's totally possible, right? Most of us speak for free, and that's more of a marketing strategy. So it's different. A business model is something you're selling, and a marketing strategy is something that it attracts leads for you, okay, in your business, in your sales process. So speaking for free, you can do all day long. You can do videos like this. You can do your own Zoom calls. You can do them live by yourself. You can do Facebook Live. That's speaking. You could do YouTube Live. That's speaking. You could do your own live event, whether it's a 2-hour, a 2-day, or whatever. That's speaking. You can do a radio show. You can go to blogtalkradio.com and get booked all day long. There's tens of thousands of shows on there that have guests on them, right? So you got to get started speaking and speak as much as humanly possible. I mean, one year I actually tracked how many talks I gave, and it was either an interview like this or an actual talk or my own event, I tracked all speaking gigs whatsoever. There was about 64 speaking gigs in a year.
Wow.
Now, that seems like a lot, but I have a client right now who's up to, I want to say 100 or more than 100 talks right now and on her calendar for this year. So she's rocking it. I mean, that's her number one lead generator is speaking, and she does it all in person. She doesn't even do a lot of this virtual stuff. So imagine trying to get 100 or 120 local speaking gigs. It's hard. I mean, it's not hard. It is pretty hard, but you have to be full-time looking for gigs.
Wow. And I'm looking at my calendar. I guess I need to buckle up and get my calendar filled up for speaking engagement. And I love the fact that you talked about it's not just big events. The small event, just like this, being interviewed in someone else's podcast or someone else radio show, whatever. That's also help you, because when you get to be in other people's platform, then you get to be known and seen as well. So,
yes. Well, and I mean, I've been on radio shows or podcasts that have millions of viewers and gotten no business, not even some subscribers, okay? And then I spoke at an event where there was 4 people besides myself, where I was the speaker. 4 people, okay? And I sold all but one, because one was already a client of mine. And so I sold them all something, and I made $7,500. So, I mean, you just never know where you're going to find your prospects, which is why you just have to get in front of more people more often and in more ways.
Wow. You know, I want to ask you, I know you are so big on events. These days, there's so many ways that we can do virtual events. But you strongly believe that live event in person, that nothing beats it. Can you talk a little bit about why you believe that networking in person is still very crucial in business?
Well, it is. I mean, even because these online talks are so all over the place now, unfortunately, they're less and less attended as they were when they were first new and bright, shiny object, right? So, and granted, the live events, you're seeing a little bit lower of a turnout in some cases. I have seen it on my events as well. Mm-hmm. But it also gives you the opportunity to do a deeper dive and much deeper connection with your attendees. Whether you have 10 people or 1,000 people in your audience, you can still go very deep. I was just at an event with like 800 people, and the speaker got into the audience and was going around the audience, and that's really how you connect, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to just stay on stage. So live is just where the connection happens and where the trust, like connection factor, is just highly increased, and they're more apt to buy from you, especially at a higher price point than online. I just don't see a lot of people converting high ticket sales from the online platforms anymore, unless you're some big name like Brendan Bouchard or, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk or something like that. You know, those people have a huge following. You can't compare yourself to them. If they've got 100,000 subscribers or more, and you have 100 subscribers to your list, you just can't compare. It's not apples to apples. It's totally different. So,
you know, I want to go back and ask you to talk a little bit more about networking, because you said that one of the ways that you really grew your networking is through follow-up system. So can you go deeper into that?
Yeah, well, networking is the lead generator to being able to follow up. And it's one of the top 10 ways that I recommend people get in front of more people more often and in more ways. So speaking is one, networking is another. And networking in person is different than networking on social media. But I treat social media like a big networking event. If you walk onto Facebook, for example, if you think about it this way, you walk onto Facebook. I say walk on. It's like walking into a networking event, right? There's billions of people there. So first of all, you've got your friends list, right? So you've got your friends list on Facebook. Those are the people when you go to a live networking event that you already know, right? Now, some of you might not know very well. Some of you might have just gotten their business card and been acquainted with at one point, but it's your friend list. So you could walk up to any of those people anytime, hopefully, and say, oh, how's it going? Or, hey, I'm looking for some help with this or a resource for that. Do you know anything? Or, you'd ask for some support possibly. You could do the same with your friend list on Facebook or connection lists on LinkedIn. And then, but what about the people that you don't know and aren't friends with on Facebook? People sometimes look at that as going, oh my God, all these people are trying to friend me. Like, why do they want to be my friend? I don't accept them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why wouldn't you accept them? It's like somebody walking up to you at a networking event going, hi, I'm Katrina. And then you just like turning around and walking away from me and ignoring me. It's like, that's rude. It's like, I'm just trying to network with you and say, hi, how are you? Now, the problem is people will go and request to be your friend, but they won't send you a message. You need to send a message. If you're going to request someone to be their friend and you don't know who they are, don't just like throw your business card at them and walk away, which is what you're doing. Throw your business card at them and say, hi, I'm curious if you'd like to talk sometime to see how we can help each other. Or I find your page interesting, or say something. Don't just like throw yourself at them and then walk away. It's ridiculous. So that's where you take the networking online to the next step, is to really have that conversation and then take it off to a phone call. You just never know where you're going to find your next lead, prospect, client, referral source, speaking opportunity. It comes from doing that.
I love what you said, because I have to say that I'm guilty of this. I am so guilty of this, because sometimes, you have weird people asking for requests, and to you it's like, why do I need to? Go ahead and delete it. But it makes sense. But it really makes sense that you never know who that person is. That person may just be your next client.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong, there are weirdos. So you have to, like, anybody without a profile picture obviously gets deleted, because if they can't show up with their picture, then, and there's sometimes you get the duplicates. Like, I don't understand why people like will fake someone else's identity just to friend them. I don't understand that, but that happens. Yes, I know. And then there's the weirdos, especially some of us women. We get lots of guys who say, hey lady, hey dear, or, like that. Those you don't add, and you don't need to message them. You just delete them, of course. But with most of the ones that are just trying to network with you, it's silly not to add them, or at least message with them and find out what they're interested in, right?
Before I go too far, I want to talk about your business website being a hub. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because I don't want to go too far without having you dip into it.
Yeah, I mean, so many times I go to somebody's website and I can't find their phone number because it's not there. I can't find their pictures and see who they are because they haven't put their picture on it. They're not personal on there. I don't even know. They don't even have an about page. I don't know what city they're in because they don't put their contact information. There's no way to get a hold of them. Or they have their products and services listed, but they don't have any click and buy buttons, or even a button that says, if you're interested in talking to me about this, come and have a conversation. Nothing. Sometimes people are just making it so hard for your prospects to get information, contact you, whatever. And so you have to look at your website as the hub of your business. If you went to my website right now, then you will find a bunch of free training. So people that want to just try me out without me knowing they're there can go do that. If they want to come and talk with me, there's a way to find a place to come and talk with me. If they want to buy something because they're in urgent need of getting some help with their marketing or their business, there's something to buy, and something to buy from like $20 to $20,000. So all kinds of price points for any shopper. Okay. There's places where they can learn more about my speaking gigs. They can book me to talk. They can hear testimonials. They can find out all kinds of stuff. And if you're not doing these things on your website, maybe you don't have them yet, right? But let's figure out a way what to put in place to what you're selling first. Make sure you're very visible with who you are, what you're doing, and all these little functionality things that have to be in place for not only for you to manage the site better, but for your prospects and visitors to make it easy for them to buy, click, shop, get information. You got to have buttons and forms and that kind of, and videos to explain things and tutorials that are there to help people when you can't be, you know. A lot of times you go to those websites and you see a little chat box pop up in the bottom corner, right? So those are cool too, because if someone has a question, guess what? Someone can answer it right now, right? And that's instant. We need that instant question and answer thing. And if you can't afford to put that on your website, then at least have some other way for us to contact you and make it really easy. But too many people make it hard for your prospects to even navigate your website. It's ridiculous. So I have website services now because my clients all need it. Every single client that's come to me, I've either done something to their website, or we fixed it, or we told their website webmaster to fix it, or we built them a new site because it's just not working properly and effectively. And you'll get so much more free time back if you do this too.
So you're really big on automation. So let me ask you, if you
think?
I'm thinking about that person that technology is not their stuff. It's one of my weaknesses is technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are transitioning from corporate to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Walk me through, for our listeners that are listening right now, can you walk us through what will be the first thing they need to put in place if they want to go into entrepreneurship?
Well, gosh, it's probably different for everybody. So I would hate to just blanket an answer there because, but having some sort of web presence, I always look into, I don't just say, oh, you have to do it this way. And you have to spend X number of dollars on your website. If someone doesn't have a whole lot of money, I will say, well, these are the things you need to do, and we're going to do this kind of a website instead to get you going. But I want you to start saving because in 6 months, we really need to ramp up your web presence. So I'll do it in stages. And, I'm all about the most affordable way possible to build your business, but you can't skimp on some things. You can't do your own website. Do not do your own website. Do not go to GoDaddy either. GoDaddy's horrible for templates. So horrible templates in certain places. You sometimes just don't know what you don't know. You've got to learn some of the tech. That doesn't mean you have to learn all the back end, like how to move this here and how to design this. You don't have to learn that detailed. You can get some of it implemented, but that's the beauty. I mean, I love to show people how to do certain things, especially in this tech field, because not that I know everything about it, but I know just enough to show someone who's not techie where to click, what to do, what button to press, what page to click, how to copy in information and link it somewhere and then save it so it goes up, So it can be just as easy as what I just said. It's just you just need to embrace it and learn a little bit. Now, we want you to delegate a lot of what you're doing in your business, but if you don't understand how it all works and flows together with a little bit of training around that technology stuff, then you're not going to be able to delegate effectively either. You're not going to hire the right person. You're not going to tell them what to do effectively because you don't understand what's possible. So it's so important to learn a little bit.
A little bit of technology. Thank you. Yeah. Because you have to at least know what you're asking somebody to do for you.
Yeah.
I'm learning a little at a time, but I'll get there one of these days. But I want to ask you a question about the follow-up, because I really believe that follow-up is very important. And what I want to find out from you is, what do you think when we're sending out information for someone we've just met and we're following up? What do you think should be like the first, the second, or the third that we need to do in terms of following up?
Well, I have a whole training on this in my Jumpstart Your Marketing system. But basically there's 4 types of follow-up, and it used to be only 3, now it's 4, because social media is coming along. So when you come back from a live event, and I just did a couple weeks ago, and I had all these drawing slips filled out where they put their contact information and checked off what they wanted to learn. The first thing you need to do is enter these into a database or get someone to do it for you, which is what I did. I passed them off to an assistant locally because I had this many.
Wow.
And when you have this many,
that's good.
You don't want to sit and do it yourself because you will never do it. You'll keep putting it off, and it'll sit on your side of your desk, and you'll go, oh, I really need to enter those. I really need to enter those. And you will put off your follow-up until it's actually done. And so that's a mistake. Don't do that. So get them entered. And then you need to email. You need to send something in the mail. You need to make phone calls, and you need to follow up on social media too, because sometimes people will check their Facebook inbox or their LinkedIn inbox before they even see your email, because your email might even go into their spam folder. So they might actually only see the Facebook and get your phone call, and they won't see your email. But most people, all they do is follow up by email, and that's a huge mistake. So there's 4 ways to follow up, and you got to do multiple touches on each, not just one on each, and think you're good, because you're not.
Wow. So for each client or each follow-up, you have to do all these 4 for each person?
Yes. If you really want to maximize your time networking, which you should, you've spent hours networking, possibly invested in, $20 to $200 in an event fee or whatever, and you don't just want to come back with business cards or of a stack of business cards and not do anything with them. That's just ridiculous. So, but there's so many people that do that, and that's why I teach follow-up, but I have to teach it over and over and over sometimes to my clients because they don't always end up doing it. So I have to actually show them how, or do it with them, or hire a virtual assistant so that we can tell the virtual assistant what to do, because you just kind of have to sometimes take the client out of the equation. Look, you're never going to get to it, so let's just delegate it, because so it gets done. Because that's where the money is. The most of my money is made in the follow-up from live events, period, you guys. So like 90, I think I tracked it one time. It was like 95% of my revenue came from the follow-up from live events. That's a lot of revenue. If you didn't do your follow-up or you weren't effective at it, think of all the money you could be losing right now because you're not doing it.
So what is one thing that you can tell our listeners right now on how to get it done?
Well, you could come to my event. I just happen to be teaching it at the end of August, how to do all this techie stuff. So it's one way to do it. I can teach you over Zoom too. I love to do one-on-one calls on Zoom, where I'm doing a screen share and I show clients what to do, and then we record it, and then they have a tutorial. So I log into their website, or I log into their YouTube or their Facebook, and I'll pretend to be them, and I'll show them everything that I'm doing on the screen so they can watch, but we're recording it. So then the beauty is you can go back and look at it over and over and over again, and you can do it again yourself because you have the tutorial. So that's why I love. So nowadays I make a lot more tutorials with clients so they can.
That's really neat. I love that.
Yeah.
Because people like me, I may have to hear it a couple of times before I get it. As I said, I'm not, technology is something that God is still working with me on. So.
Tutorials are really good, especially if someone's doing it on your website or your profile or with your information. But if you're watching someone do it in a different system that you don't have that same system, then it still isn't as helpful, right? So that's why it's really important to get that support, especially one-on-one. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at you, Katrina, I'm looking at you and I'm wondering, oh my God, she is all that. But I'm wondering, could there be any mistakes that you've made coming up as an entrepreneur? Can you share?
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I know. It seems like, oh, yeah, I'm all great now, unicorns and dollar bills and whatever. But it wasn't always that easy, of course. I was very stubborn along the way in my learning. I
Really?
must say. Oh yes, I hired all kinds of mentors, and they would tell me something to do, and I'd be like, no, I don't think so. I think I'll do it my way. And I probably could have saved 3 or 4 years of my entrepreneurial journey, or sped it up, mind you, to more success quicker if I had not been so stubborn and listened to someone like me. You know, my first mentor was much like me, what I am now to my clients. And she was suggesting a certain niche for me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to niche that. It's too small. I do so much more. I don't want to, you know. But in hindsight, I probably would have got on a lot more bigger stages with the niche, especially, well, it was follow-up, right? She wanted me to niche in like follow-up queen. And I'm like, no, I do so much more. I don't want to be pinpointed for the follow-up queen. Although seriously, I probably would have been in millions of dollars had I done that. So, you know, just smack me right now. I'm like,
That's why you're here sharing it with us so that we don't have to make the same mistake,
yes.
right?
Don't think that your way is the right way if you are not making the money or not, whatever. If you want to be thin and healthy and you're not, then maybe you should listen to the thin and healthy person, right? Or if you're broke, maybe you should listen to the person making a couple $100,000 a year consistently, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if you're whatever, right? So,
So I have to ask you this because I can see it and I know you talk about it, but I'm wondering, when did you really realize that money and business can be talked about?
You mean love and money?
Yes.
My love and money, yes. Well, it was 2008 when I did hire another mentor, and he basically tortured me all year long by telling me to, I was like, just tell me how to make more money. I wanted to get to 6 figures. I'm like, this was back in 2008, right? And I'm like, I just want to make more money. What do I need to do? Just tell me what to do. Do I need to send more emails? Do I need to change my website? Develop another speaking gig? Do I need to go to this conference? What do I need to do? And all year long, he and my entire group of peers were telling me, just be love. And I'm like, yeah, but what do I need to do? Like, I don't understand. That's not really helpful. Like, they're like, no, you just need to be love. And I'm like, seriously, what? I don't understand. What? I'm a doer. Like, just give me some tasks, right? Mm-hmm. And so I cried all year long trying to figure out how the heck to be love and how that was supposed to help me grow my business. But at the end of the year, which was really funny, is I made 6 figures that year, and I didn't do anything different except for torture myself and trying to be love everywhere. And basically all he meant by that, and they meant by that, was just breathe and stop doing. It was just be and stop do. And so now that was the year that I really developed the love yourself successful stuff and started a live event called Love and Money Business Summit back then, which is now Love and Money Live. And I just started on the track with how to get more love in your life and money in your business, because I believe that love plus money equals happiness. So you need both. And too many people focus on one or the other. They just focus on being happy and then they don't focus on making money, or they focus on their business too much and their relationship fails, or they don't have a love life and then they're not completely happy. So I'm just really big on focusing on both. So I make clients have date nights, or I make the ones that are so in bliss right now get focused on their business and making more money. And so, yeah, it's fun.
Wow. So I just have to ask you one more question on this. And that is, people can coach for so many months, but especially somebody who's new, they are looking to see, what can I do in about 90 days? How can I jumpstart my business in 90 days and start bringing some cash in? Can you help us or guide us, our listeners, on how to go about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how I originally started when I first hired first mentor and I could barely afford her, coaching fees at all. But I trusted that this was exactly what I needed, and she would tell me what to do, and she did. And within 90 days, I had completely transformed my business from more of a trading hour for dollar to more of a, pay for a big project or a retainer kind of fee. So it can totally be done. I've seen other clients even transform in quicker than that. Like I had one client one time who is a paid speaker, and he wanted to develop a coaching business and didn't really know anything about it. He'd been paid speaking for a long time, and he had that down, and he was making money, but he didn't want to travel as much anymore because he had a small baby now. And so he wanted to be home with the kids and his family, right? And not be out on the road speaking. So, I mean, literally in one call, we figured out what he would coach on and what his program was. The second call, and I told him what to charge. And by the second call, he'd already made $10,000 based on what we were told him to sell in the first call. So, I mean, he made $10,000 the first month easily off a couple calls. It was super quick. But he's an action taker, and he does what he's told, and he did it. And then he got new ideas, and he'd come back, and we got even more stuff. And now he's totally blown up his coaching business, and it's only 6 months later, I think. So, and we didn't even have to talk that long because he just took the ball and ran with it, right? But he also knew a little bit about technology and some other things, so he was pretty savvy in some other areas, so it didn't take him as long. So it depends on where someone is in their learning abilities for the technology, the systems, the marketing, how deep we have to go with the training. Some people, when I talk about email marketing, they're like, what? Sending an email from Gmail? No, that's not email marketing. So if I have to go and explain all of that, then it just might take a little bit longer. But I have lots of audios and trainings that can help you get up to speed faster too. And I can do this one-on-one. I have a whole 90-day program, for God's sake. So that's what I do.
Awesome. And we're going to come to how our audience can take part in everything that you're doing, because I cannot wait for you to give out all that information. But before we close, I want to ask you, for those of us, the listeners that are listening right now, and some of them are transitioning into starting a business, or they're already in business, can you give us 3 things that will help us? Either we are starting out or we are already in business, but we are trying to level up. Can you give us 3 things from you that can help us based on your experience and how you've been able to help your clients?
Well, if you're talking about leveling up, I mean, you need to position yourself as an expert, right? And a credible expert. So I would say make sure that you're where you're positioning yourself all over the internet for sure, and in your marketing materials is all consistent. It doesn't have to be expensive branding, but you need consistency. So a good headshot, and it's the same on all profiles and everything that you do, the same look and feel everywhere if you can. That's going to help you look more like the expert when you're first starting. And then just being clear on what you're selling. So just have 2 options possibly. I do it this way and I do it this way. And I can help you this way or that way. Which one do you want? This or that? Right? That makes it easy then for you to have a sales conversation. If you try to have too many things for sale, well, you can come to this one day with me, you can do this Zoom call with me, you can have a 3-month or a 6-month or a 12-month program, or I have this retreat coming up, or I have this membership program, or I have this ebook, or I have this blah. Boy, we're confused, right? So just pick 2 ways people can actually take advantage of your services to get going. And then you can evolve from there. But that way you're not stumbling over the sales conversation, because one of the biggest mistakes I see entrepreneurs making, especially in the beginning, is they don't know how to have that sales conversation enough where they're not giving too much information and they're actually making a sale. They're actually getting people enrolled in their program. So you have to finesse that sales conversation and be clear with what you're selling. And probably a third thing would be figure out how to get more confident about what you're doing. Because either one of those two things, if you don't have enough confidence, you're not going to make the sale either. And you're not going to get in front of more people. You might drive to a networking event, but not go in if you're not confident. You might not even get out of the house because you don't like what you're wearing. You're not sure if it's the appropriate attire, which is ridiculous. Just go, right? So you just have to knock that head trash out of your head and just do it anyway. So just take action regardless of if you know what's going to happen or not, is my advice.
Absolutely. You know, you talk about confidence, which is my platform, and you know, you can absolutely know everything there is to know, but if you don't have that confidence to be able to express your value, it really doesn't do you any good. And oftentimes, even doing Facebook Live or even being on camera, people are very shy because they're always thinking about how they look, whether they say it right or whether they make a mistake, whether they cross their T's and dot their I's. And I've always said, just get the message out. Done is better than perfect. Get it out, and over the period of time, as you continue to do it, you'll get better doing it. Absolutely. So as we come to the close of our conversation, if there are audience who are interested in contacting you and working with you, how can they contact you?
Well, everything's on the website. Like I said, it's really easy. Just go to jumpstartyourmarketing.com. There's stuff for business, marketing, your website. If you just want to try me out, you go to the free trainings page under the resources. If you want to come to an event and actually engage with me and get stuff done, then you go to the event page and sign up for the next event, which is in August. And it's all about jumpstarting your techie stuff, your online, and learning that kind of stuff. If you want to come and talk to me, then when you sign up for a free thing, you'll get an opportunity to come talk to me. But you probably won't find that elsewhere, though, because I don't really offer a free call as much as I used to these days, because I don't need to. So, but if you want to talk to me, you have to engage at some level and, sign up for something for free or pay. There's programs on there. The 90-day program's on there. The Jumpstart Your Marketing program. If you want to become a speaker, there's a speaker training. There's books on there. My Love Yourself Successful book. My other book that just came out is not up there yet, but it is on Amazon. I actually have it. So you can get the Jumpstart Your New Business Now book. Oh my God, there's so many options, right? I should have only given you 2 because I just told you 2.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katrina. I appreciate you as always, and I can't wait for our continued collaboration and partnership with the Women's Coaching Association. And if you are listening to me now, or you know somebody who needs information and who needs coaching and confidence to be able to express their brilliant value, please go over to rockyyourbrilliance.com, and there, like Katrina said, you are going to find information on how to contact me, and we're just going to have a chat and see how I can support you. Also, you can go to Women's Coaching Association, womenscoachingassociation.com, women's with an S, and you can also find out all the benefits to become a member of Women's Coaching Association today. So, Katrina, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And